I'm Jason Epperson. This is RV Miles, and it's time for the latest in RV and camping news. Welcome back, everybody. I'm playing a little bit of catch up here. I've been on a cruise for this past week away from the internet, and well, a lot's happened in the world of public lands news with the Trump administration taking the reins a week ago. So we're going to dive into a lot of the things that are changing or are in limbo on the public lands front. And then we're going to take a look at the things that the Trump administration is doing that may affect the RV industry, as well as a 2024 wrap up of the RV industry's production. And then we'll take a look at some of the other news from around the country, of course, in a no BS, no bias way. But first of all, this episode is sponsored by the folks at Liquefied RV Toilet Tank Treatment. Eliminate black tank woes with Liquefied RV Toilet Treatment, the ultimate enzyme-based solution for RVers. Their powerful formula simplifies waste management by breaking down solid waste and toilet paper, erasing foul odors, and ensuring smooth tank dumping. Liquefied removes buildup on sensors for accurate black tank readings. It's biodegradable and safe for all septic systems. It contains no formaldehyde, making it safe for pets and children, and it's made in the USA. You can find Liquefied at liquefiedrv.com and in lots of stores, but they're also giving away an Alliance Delta travel trailer, no purchase necessary. Head to the link in the description for this episode for all the details. Terms and conditions apply. Okay, first up, the Trump administration has placed a hiring freeze on seasonal employees, of course, across the government, really, but for our purposes here, we're talking about national parks. And many who have already been hired by the National Park Service have said that their offers have been rescinded. Positions in the Park Service are already down 15% in the last 15 years. Meanwhile, visitation is up 16%. The Washington Post reported Friday that about 400 job offers have been rescinded. National Parks Traveler reported that that number is closer to 1,400 positions. And of course, those are the ones that have been rescinded, not the ones that just haven't been hired at all yet. The National Park Service typically hires about 7,500 seasonal employees for peak tourism seasons, and the move was part of a national hiring freeze announced by Trump last Monday, despite claims by the Office of Management and Budget that the seasonal jobs would be exempt from that hiring freeze. Now, this isn't just a problem in national parks, and frankly, it's not just something that started under Trump. You may remember back in October, I reported that the U.S. Forest Service had suspended seasonal hiring for 2025 because they had not been given the money to fill those positions. That freeze affects some 2,400 jobs, nearly all of which are field-based positions, including trail technicians and recreation staff like campground employees. At this point, there will be no seasonal workers this year on U.S. Forest Service lands other than seasonal firefighters. The Forest Service has shed over 8,000 jobs in the last 20 years. So between those two big land agencies and all of the other ones that are under a hiring freeze, it's safe to say that things will be a little different on public lands this year. We'll probably see fewer campground and visitor center employees, a lot less trail maintenance, restroom cleaning, that sort of stuff. Perhaps there will be more reliance on volunteers. Parks will essentially be running on a skeleton crew if nothing changes. If seasonal hiring does get restarted, there could be delays in getting it all done before the busy season takes hold. I do anticipate some seasonal hiring to be restarted, but who knows? This administration's looking to do a lot of new things. Clearly, they plan to be transformational in a lot of ways and aren't too concerned with the short-term effects of big moves like this while they sort out what they want to do with many of these positions. President Trump has also ordered the Interior Department to rename the tallest mountain in the world. Yes, it is the tallest mountain in the world. Look it up. From Denali back to Mount McKinley. A prospector named the mountain after President McKinley. McKinley was renamed Denali in 2015 by the Obama administration, reflecting the Athabascan people's name for the mountain, which means the high one. A press release from the White House said, quote, "This order honors President McKinley for giving his life for our great nation and dutifully recognizes his historic legacy of protecting America's interests and generating enormous wealth for all Americans." This is an idea that Trump floated during his first term, but didn't move on because it had some pushback from Alaskan Republicans. The mountain will have an official new name, but the order does not direct Denali National Park and Preserve to be renamed. The park has been called Denali since 1980. Still, the Park Service will be changing signage and nomenclature on official documents referring to the mountain. And of course, Trump's order also directed that the Gulf of Mexico be known going forward as the Gulf of America, which will require many National Park Service units along the Gulf Coast to change signage as well. Moving to the Trump administration's effect on the RV industry. Trump has indicated that tariffs on Mexico and Canada could start as early as February 1st, which could affect the prices of RVs. Lots of parts and materials come from Mexico, while some RVs like Pleasureway and leisure travel vans and others that are sold in the U.S. are built in Canada. Also, many U.S. sold trucks and vans are built in Mexico, and a tariff on Mexico could directly affect the RV industry through chassis on Class B and C motorhomes, but also indirectly by reducing the number of trucks sold. All that said, tariff threats seem to be a negotiating tactic for Trump at the moment, so who knows where these tariffs will land, if they'll actually happen at all, if they'll be temporary, or if they'll be permanent. Also, I've seen a lot of social media posts and videos about the end of the motorhome sales issue in the state of California and other states that follow California's emissions standards due to the Trump administration and California rescinding its request for the EPA for a waiver to implement these rules. Many of those stories have been erroneous. On Tuesday, January 14th, the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, announced that it had withdrawn its request for a waiver from the EPA to implement its Advanced Clean Fleets rule. The Advanced Clean Fleets rule would have required medium and heavy-duty vehicles sold into California, including motorhomes, to be zero emission by 2036, requiring that fleet owners phase in increased percentages of zero-emission vehicles between now and then. This would have impacted RV rental companies who have fleets of 50 or more motorhomes operating in California. But according to the RV Industry Association, while the Advanced Clean Fleets rule withdrawal does impact the RV industry somewhat, it does not affect the Advanced Clean Trucks rule in any way. The EPA has already approved California's waiver for the Advanced Clean Trucks rule, and there's no indication that CARB is changing track on that rule, which is the one that could snarl chassis availability for motorhomes sold into those states. I would expect a long, protracted legal battle coming soon between California, these other states, and the Trump administration. This is not something that can just get unwound in a second. There's going to be a lot that goes into this, and the legal battles are already well prepared. Moving to the health of the RV industry after the big kickoff to the year event, the Florida RV Super Show in Tampa, I did a roundup video of everything new I saw at the show about a week and a half ago, and I promised on the next news roundup I'd have attendance numbers. Unfortunately, it wasn't great. The show had a couple slow days heading into the weekend where crowds did really get big. I'm told Saturday was one of the biggest Saturdays ever, but Sunday saw some torrential rain and attendance for the whole show was down just under 9% over 2023. And 2023 really wasn't a great year for attendance either. From the dealers I spoke to at the show and a roundup of dealers that RVbusiness.com did, I'll link to that in the comments, both high-end and low-end units were selling moderately well, but the stuff in the middle ground wasn't. And most of the interest was in larger units like Class A motorhomes and fifth wheels. And that might be something that's really specific to Florida and the people that are in Florida this time of year, a lot of snowbirds, of course. Results from the RV Industry Association's December 2024 survey of manufacturers show a 6.6% increase in total RV shipments for the year, reaching 333,733 units. Quote, despite challenges, the RV industry showed resilience and upward trajectory in 2024 and continued to demonstrate broad appeal to consumers, said RV Industry Association President and CEO Craig Kirby. These modest gains provide a solid foundation to build upon, and we are confident that with continued innovation and dedication to customer satisfaction, the RV industry will see even greater success in 2025. All that said, the number of units doesn't tell the whole story. The mix of units produced over 2024 definitely leaned to the more affordable RVs. Towable RVs were up 11.8%, while motorhomes were down 23.9%. Starlink satellite internet will end the grandfathered portability add-on for residential Starlink subscribers and move those customers to the more expensive Roam Unlimited plan. The change will take place on February 23rd. In April of 2023, the company removed the portability add-on option for new residential customers, limiting it just to existing customers with an active portability subscription. You had to keep it on or you'd lose it, and now it's going away altogether. The Michigan Department of Natural Resources announced it's adjusting fees for campsites. New nightly rates will be effective starting August 1st and will increase between $4 and $10 per night. Paramount Pictures has announced that it plans to shoot scenes for a new suspense thriller movie in Washington state and is looking for RV owners to participate in some scenes. The movie's title is under wraps, but anyone interested in participating can contact the production team via email at vanlifemoviewashington@gmail.com. And Love's Travel Stops plans to start construction of 20 new stores and begin updating 50 locations this year, and will continue to add locations and amenities to cater to the needs of RV customers. The company will add 83 hookups to 17 locations, which will mean over 100 Love's locations across the country will have RV hookups. That's it for this week's RV and Camping News Roundup. If you like what we do here, consider becoming a Mile Marker member and support what we do. It's $7 a month, $70 a year. And as a thank you, you get extra podcast episodes. You get an email from me that has all the different news stories that I found, even the ones that I don't put in this video, and a whole lot more. There's a link in the description to join. Thanks so much, everybody. Hit the like button if you got something on this video. Subscribe if you want more like it, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.